It is a cruel joke when life gives you a second chance only to place you face to face with the man who once destroyed you. But that was exactly my reality when I walked into the lecture hall on my first day as an Omega student and saw him standing at the podium, the Alpha professor, the man who had also been reborn. I froze in the doorway, my hands trembling as students bustled past me, laughing, chatting, unaware of the storm that was rising in my chest. The smell hit me first, sharp cedarwood, familiar, inescapable. The kind of scent that once haunted my nights, and I had prayed never to breathe in again. Yet there he was, alive, reborn, and looking at me with the same pair of piercing eyes that had once burned me down to ashes. His name Professor Adrian Cole. My name Ethan Hale. In our past life he had been my ruin. And now, fate had thrown us back together, like two moths doomed to circle the same flame. The lecture began, but I heard none of it. My mind was trapped in fragments of memories. The betrayal, the nights of silent tears, the crushing weight of his choices. And yet, beneath all that resentment, there was still the ghost of something softer. A love I had once thought was eternal, before it shattered. When class ended, I made the mistake of lingering. Maybe I wanted answers. Maybe I just wanted to see if he remembered too. "Ethan," he said, his voice low, steady, and terrifyingly gentle. He remembered. I whipped around, heart hammering. "Don't," I snapped. The word came out sharper than I expected. "Don't say my name like that. Not here. Not ever." For a moment, his calm facade cracked. His jaw clenched, his eyes softened, and there was a flicker of something I couldn't place: regret, longing, but I turned away before I could let myself fall into the trap of believing he could ever change. I thought I had escaped him in death. I never expected rebirth would tie us together again. Campus life was supposed to be simple: study, make friends, keep my head down. But everything became complicated with Adrian in the picture. The way his gaze followed me in class, lingering longer than it should. The way his presence seemed to fill the air until it was suffocating. One night, after a late study session at the library, I stepped outside to find rain pouring hard, drenching the campus in silver streaks. I pulled my jacket tighter and hurried down the steps, only to nearly collide with a tall figure standing by the lamppost. "Ethan," he said again, my name falling from his lips like a prayer. "Are you following me now?" I hissed, stepping back. "You remember," he whispered, ignoring my question. "Don't you? The last life. Everything." The rain soaked us both, and for the first time, I let myself look at him fully. His face, older than mine yet still achingly familiar. His eyes, carrying the weight of sins he could never undo. My chest tightened painfully. "I remember enough to hate you," I said. The words cut him. I saw it. But instead of defending himself, he only nodded, as though he agreed I had every right. I told myself to stay away, but destiny, or maybe cruelty, kept pulling us into the same orbit. Group discussions, random encounters, the strange tug of the bond neither of us could sever. It was torture being near him, because beneath the anger, I couldn't lie to myself. A part of me still longed for him. One evening, during a crowded lecture, I felt the faintest brush of his alpha pheromones, carefully controlled but reaching for me like a hand in the dark. My body reacted before my mind could resist. Heat surged in my veins, my omega instincts betraying me. I gritted my teeth and forced myself to focus on my notes, but my hand shook so badly I nearly snapped my pen. After class, I confronted him in the empty hallway. "You're sick," I spat. "Using your pheromones on me like that." His eyes widened in horror. "No, Ethan, I swear I didn't mean to. It slipped. I've been trying so hard to keep it in check." "Liar." He took a step closer, then stopped himself, as though the distance between us was sacred ground. "I don't want to hurt you again. You have to believe that." I laughed bitterly. "Believe you? After what you did to me before? You think rebirth erases the past?" His silence was louder than any denial. But life had a cruel sense of humor. My first heat cycle since rebirth struck harder than I expected. I thought I could manage it alone, but the searing pain and desperate longing overwhelmed me. I locked myself in my dorm, shaking, sweating, clutching my pillow as waves of need tore through me, and somehow was there, knocking at my door. His voice rough, urgent. "Ethan, open up. Please. I can smell it. You're not okay. Go away," I cried, my voice breaking. "I don't need you. Not again." Silence. Then softer. "I'm not here to claim you. I just don't want you to suffer alone." Something inside me cracked at those words. I wanted to push him away, but my body betrayed me. When I finally opened the door, his scent rushed in like a bomb against the fire burning in my veins. His arms didn't touch me. He stayed a careful distance, fists clenched at his sides, trembling with restraint. He guided me through it, his voice steady, his presence grounding me until the worst of it passed. When dawn broke, I lay on the bed exhausted, my breath shallow. He sat by the window, shoulders tense, eyes red as though he hadn't slept all night. "You shouldn't have come," I whispered. "I know," he replied quietly, "but I couldn't stay away." Days blurred into weeks and something shifted between us. He was no longer just the alpha who had once broken me. He was a man carrying his own burden of regret, trying, in whatever way he could, to make things right. But forgiveness was not simple. Love was even less so. The real test came when whispers spread across campus. Students began noticing the tension between us, the way his gaze lingered, the way I avoided him with too much effort. Rumors stirred, cruel and sharp. One night, I found myself cornered by a group of classmates. Their words were venom. "Omega slut," one sneered. "No wonder Professor Cole looks at you that way. You're probably offering yourself to him." The rage and humiliation boiled in my chest. But before I could retort, a familiar voice cut through the air, low and dangerous. "Say that again," Adrian said, stepping into the circle. The students froze, paling. His alpha presence rolled over them like a storm, commanding, terrifying. They scattered, muttering excuses, leaving me trembling in the aftermath. I turned on him, furious. "Now they'll just talk more. Do you have any idea what this will do to me?" He looked at me, pain etched deep in his features. "I don't care what they say about me, but I won't let them hurt you." Something inside me wavered then. Because for the first time, I saw not the alpha who had ruined me but the man who might, just might, be trying to save me. That night, as I lay in bed, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't sure I hated him anymore. The silence between us stretched for days after the confrontation with my classmates. I avoided him, even skipped a lecture just to breathe without the weight of his presence pressing down on me. But avoidance is a fragile shield, and fate has a way of tearing it apart. It happened during a guest lecture event, hundreds of students packed into the hall, with professors from different departments seated up front. Adrian stood at the podium, introducing the speaker with his usual calm authority. And then, out of nowhere, the scent hit me. A foreign alpha pheromone, sharp and invasive, slithered into the room. I stiffened, my instincts screaming. Across the hall, another alpha visiting professor was staring at me with predatory interest. His pheromones grew stronger, targeting me deliberately, ignoring the crowd. My hands shook, my body betraying me in front of everyone. Adrian reacted instantly. His control shattered, his pheromones flooding the hall in a surge of dominance so fierce the air itself seemed to crackle. Students gasped, some shrinking back in fear. The offending alpha paled and looked away, retreating under the force of Adrian's wrath. And in that moment, our secret was no longer secret. Everyone knew. Whispers turned into storms. The campus buzzed with speculation, judgment, ridicule. Omegas passed me with pity in their eyes, while betas whispered sharp-edged words. The administration summoned Adrian for questioning, threatening disciplinary action, even suspension. I felt like I was drowning, dragged back to the same despair that had consumed me in our past life. History was repeating itself. No matter how much we tried to resist, the world refused to let us exist without punishment. I found him late one night, alone in his office, head in his hands. For the first time, he looked utterly defeated. "They're going to strip me of my position," he said, voice hoarse. "Maybe even ban me from teaching altogether. I could fight it, but it would only drag you into the fire with me. And I swore I wouldn't hurt you again." My throat tightened. "So what then? You just give up?" He lifted his head, eyes hollow but burning. "If giving up means protecting you, then yes. I'll disappear if I have to." The words ripped through me like a blade. For so long, I had hated him, resented him, feared him. But the thought of losing him again made my chest ache with unbearable clarity. "I don't want you to disappear," I whispered. "Not this time." It was the first time I admitted him to myself. That no matter how deep the scars ran, no matter how heavy the past weighed, my heart still reached for him. Adrian stood slowly, as though afraid any sudden move would shatter me. His hand lifted, hesitated in the air between us. I could smell his hesitation, his restraint, his desperate need. So I closed the distance myself. My fingers brushed his, a fragile touch that grew firmer as I laced my hand with his. His breath shuddered. His eyes softened, and for once, there was no mask, no wallenly raw, aching love. "Ethan," he said, my name trembling on his lips. Can you forgive me?" Tears burned at the corners of my eyes. "Not completely, not yet, but I want to try." And that was enough. The weeks that followed were a battlefield of resilience. Adrian fought the administration with a ferocity I hadn't seen before, not for his own pride, but for our right to exist. He spoke with honesty, confessing his past mistakes in private hearings, baring his soul in ways that left even the most rigid board members shaken. Meanwhile, I faced the whispers, the stares, the cruel words. But this time I wasn't alone. Adrian's presence, his unwavering support, became my shield. Slowly, the rumors dulled, attention shifted, and the storm began to pass. One night, after the hearings finally ended with a compromise, I could keep teaching, but under strict conditions, I found him waiting outside the library, leaning against his car. The exhaustion on his face melted the moment he saw me. "You're free," I said softly. "No," he replied, stepping closer, his hand reaching for mine with a reverence that made my heart ache. "We're free." Our bond deepened in quiet moments after that. Midnight walks across the empty campus, stolen conversations in hushed corners, the safety of knowing that even in silence, we were understood. But the true turning point came when my second heat arrived. This time I didn't hide. I didn't push him away. When the fire consumed me, he was there not as the alpha who once claimed me, but as the man who loved me. His touch was careful, reverent, his every move seeking permission, never taking more than I gave. And when I let him in, it wasn't surrender. It was choice. The bond that formed between us was different from before. Not forged in desperation, but in trust, in love. Months later, as spring warmed the campus, we sat together under the blooming cherry trees near the old library. The petals drifted down around us, soft and pink, as though the world itself had decided to bless us with a gentler chapter. Adrian reached over, brushing a petal from my hair. His touch lingered, his gaze steady. "Do you ever think," he asked quietly, "that maybe we were meant to go through all of it? The pain, the loss, the rebirth, just so we could find our way back here, like this?" I leaned against him, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. "Maybe. Or maybe life just likes to play cruel jokes." He laughed softly, pressing his lips to my temple. "Either way, I'm not letting go this time." And for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I believed him. Because love, even when broken, even when scarred, has the power to begin again. And this time we were ready to make it last. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.